Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here with Black Flag TV, and what a great race we've got for you today. It's been a great weekend of racing, to be fair, but this is the pinnacle. This is round 7 of the Lithuanian GR3 Championship. We have been racing now for 6 weeks. This is race number 7 to find out who is the fastest GR3 driver in Lithuania right now. And I'll tell you what, there's a few contenders for the crown. Good evening, Arminis. Good to see you, man. Have a good race. Enjoy yourself. Hope you finish up there with the big boys. I've got to say, I've been really looking forward to this. Last week was absolutely fantastic. So, quick rundown. Well, let's have a look, see what is occurring, where everyone is at in terms of standings, etc. I think that's the easiest thing to do, isn't it? Yeah. You'd think by now I'd have everything like clockwork, wouldn't you? But I don't, because it's just me. So a quick rundown of the current standings before we have a look at the track and what's occurring. So Wendigo still at the top of the pile in the Porsche 911. First time last week though, he didn't finish in the top 3. Simonas, King Bob, Guy, all looking quick. Las Vidas hasn't raced for the first 4 races. Jumps in race number 5 and has 2 from 2 so far. It's hotting up at the top of the championship. 124 points for Wendigo. Simonas just behind, 103, closing that gap every single race. And with Wendigo finishing just outside the top 3 last time. Anything can happen. Can he get himself back in the top 3? Can he finish above those guys and get a bigger gap going into round number 8? No change to their rankings this week. Rankings remain the same with Simonas at the top of the pile, 9.6. King Bob just behind him on 9.5. A couple of extra penalty points. There's a list up there in corner. I'm not going to go through it. But you can see what's occurring there. So, track info. Where are we today? I hear you cry. We are at Trial Mountain. I think, yes we are, we're at Trial Mountain. What's going on? Everything's gone wrong. I've lost my, sorry guys, I had a video to put up of the track which I appear to have lost. I'll find it in a sec, give me a second. Hold the line, caller. Talk amongst yourselves while I sort this out. There we go, found that for the time being. Don't know what I did with my video. I did have a track video. I know it's there. See? It's right there. See? I know I did. There's the track video. That is a GR4 car. I am aware of that. You don't have to point that out. But I did a track video in a GR4 yesterday for another event I'm not doing too. Just because I'm not that quick. Right, so it is Trial Mountain. It's in the USA. It is 5.4 kilometers long, which is 3.3 miles. There are 15 turns. It's not a real track, but my God, is it a good one. I'd love someone to build this. This is an awesome track. Qualified in about 3 minutes, by the way, so I'm running a bit behind. We are starting earlier because of the Grand Prix today, if anyone was wondering why. And it's a tarmac track. As you can see, it's a very, very tricky circuit, especially sort of the midpoint, but it's got two very long straights. Slipstream is king here, especially between turn 8 and turn 9. If you can get a great slim shot of turn 8 and jump in the slipstream, you can just see here you can get down the other end. You've got this big sweeping left-hander at turn 9 as you come down the hill. You want to take that nice and tight, let it drift out to that right-hand side. Then you are flat out through turns 10, 11, little braking for 12, bit more braking for 13, getting changed down to, depending on your car, probably second gear. Then you've got a little bit of a straight that takes you down to the final turns of the race, so turn 13, then 14 and 15. As you go past the pit entrance, you go down to turns 14, turns 15. This one, to be able to take it slow, sacrifice some speed in the first one, so you were a really good exit there. And I probably could have actually taken a bit more of the apex there in GR4, but it's still damn good. That was actually, that in the GR4, I think it was a 157 that lap. Which for me, if you guys know me and have raced with me, you know that's pretty darn quick for me. But there we go, that's all done. That's finished, that's done and dusted. We know where we're at. We're all caught up. So we know where we are in terms of the runners and riders. We know where we are in terms of the racing. Who have we got in the room tonight? So, without further ado, let's get involved. So here we go. Let's get all the correct information on. Drivers' names, of course, names. You might wonder why I switch between nicknames and driver names for different tournaments. It's some for when I'm doing tournaments, particularly for how you doing, Honkers. It's nice to see you, man. Some good drivers in there. You're gonna be surprised just how quick. Simona's in particular, he's crazy quick. Wendigo, not too slow either. Yeah, but so in case anyone's wondering why sometimes I do online IDs and sometimes I do nicknames, if I know you guys like I do with you, most of you, I prefer using the nicknames. With some of the competitions where I don't know the people quite so well, I use online IDs because they're generally the IDs in the leaderboard and it gives me some idea of who is who. So, Fizz Rockus, there he is. I'm going to bring, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up the leaderboard in the background. And do you know what? I'm going to apologise now for any lag. These servers have been laggy all weekend. We had an absolute nightmare of fusion yesterday. I don't know how about you, Hockers, if you experienced any. There was quite a bit at the beginning of Group D. Group G was an absolute lag fest. It was just ridiculous. And I know that one or two other groups had some problems with it. So I apologise for any lag now. It's almost like PD have screwed up the servers. But we generally don't have too many problems here because our host Rollers has a very stable connection and knows what he's doing. So there is Fizz Rockus. He's in the Corvette C7. He is sitting 5th in the championship at the moment. got almost half the points of the current leader though, but certainly there or thereabouts. MT96, or King Bob as he's also known, in the Mercedes AMG, currently sitting third in the championship on 92 points. You know he's going to be there or thereabouts. Has picked up a win, or certainly a couple of podiums to his name already. Is the win going to elude him? Is he going to pick it up? Also got a couple of fastest laps as well. This man here is the man to watch, Simonas. He has come into this tournament and absolutely laying it down pace-wise. Finally managed to knock Wendigo out of the top 3 last week for the first time in this tournament. So he is the guy to watch. I questioned his decision to swap his car. He chose to swap his car, I think last week, to the BRZ, and I questioned it, and then he absolutely proved me wrong, and scored some great points. There's Shady not doing quite so well at all, down in 13th. Has switched his car out to the Aston Martin. I don't think there's any changes this week. I certainly didn't get sent any. So I think everybody's in the cars they were already in. Wendigo, current championship leader. That lead was cut last week though. He's sitting on 124 points, but didn't finish in the top 3, and that lead has been cut. Las Vidas. Now this guy is crazy fast. He's only been in 2 races so far, missed the first 4 races and has won both races. So even though he's only done 2 of the 6 races so far, he's already sitting 10th in the championship, and 50 lovely jubbly points. Going to be one really difficult to catch. Currently though, Wendigo has the quickest lap with a 1:49.3, but I happen to know that this guy will at some stage probably beat that. There's Guy. Guy's looks solid every single race in that 911, always there or thereabouts, and that is why he's currently sitting 4th in the championship. Paz Kozas running in the that's McLaren, isn't it? I always forget. Yeah, he's in the McLaren. Paz Kozas in 11th at the moment. Did have some. I thought he's had a couple of spins in a couple of races, and it's kind of set him back a little bit. But you'll certainly see him in and around the midfield at some stage in this race. Manfredas, there he is, sideways at the moment. He is way down in the championship. He's only done a couple of races himself, but not setting the world on fire at this stage. Arminis GT, is my friend Arminis in that GR Supra. Arminis running again. He's a good solid midfield runner. Had a couple of good results in races 2 and 3. Not so great last time out, quite near the back of the pack last time. There's our host Rollers. He is running in the McLaren. Rollers another solid midfield runner. Often tends to do different strategies to everybody else. Likes to run long on hard tyres. I think actually last time out was the only person who once stopped, which is something phenomenal, I've got to say. Audriox running also in the McLaren. Another there or thereabouts midfield runner. Didn't race last week, used one of his race tokens. You'll find him at the tail end of that midfield pack. Mr. J is in the 911. Not had the greatest of races so far. 3 races competed in, race 3, 4 and 5, where he has been very much in the sort of position you'd expect to find me, near the back of the pack. Similar to Etadas, who has the same problem because he drives like me. But he has been in more races, so therefore a little bit further up the order. But again, we have a full lobby here at Trial Mountain. Let's have a look at that. So Las Vegas has now put in the fastest lap, a 1:49.1. So we will go on board with him for qualifying, and just show you just how good, one how good he is, and one how great a lap round here is as well. And rather than do it on board, I'm going to do it from this view. So we've got a 10-minute start warning, which is about right. We started half an hour early today because of the Grand Prix, but that suits me absolutely fine. So this here, you want to rub off some speed there so you can get wide and get on this power, bang, early. What you don't want to do is do what he just there, which is clip the wall. But you want to get on that power early, head down towards this start-finish line. And as you cross the start-finish line, you're going to start drifting your car over to that right-hand side. Turn 1 is just coming up here. It's not much of a break. It's a little dab, little change down in gear. I mean, he didn't change there. Actually took it flat out, which is crazy. Here you do have to lift, otherwise you're going on that grass. And then you hit the tunnel, and braking zone there. Get it turned in. He's very wide, very, very wide going through there. Well, where does he get his pace from? He's missed a couple of apexes already. Again, big dab of brake. Get it so you want to be really tight and use all that road on your exit. Again, flat out here. Again, left-hand side on the brake, but not huge one there. You want to stay right here. Then you want a little dab, a little lift. Get it tight, and then that's where you want to get on the power. That's key. If you can get on the power nice and early there, and you've got a bit of slipstream, there is definitely an overtake coming. And you head up this hill until you pop out of the tunnel. And so up to the top, to the crest of the hill, you pop out the tunnel and off you go. Back down. You're looking for your brake point just there on your right hand side. Turned in nice and tight. You can use all of this road despite the chevrons. And then you've got loads of road to drift out to with the power back on. Flat out through this turn here. Flat out here. But you are braking sort of part way through there for this one. You get changed down to second. Up again into third. Up again into fourth possibly. He doesn't. He just changes down to second for this left-hander. Then you head down towards the pit line. Pit line will be on your left-hand side or right in front of you if that's the way you're heading, which is what he just did into the pits. Simonis, he's another quick. I've got a penalty there, though. He's not going to be quick with that penalty, but is currently the pole sitter with a 1:48.6. Now, I know how quick these guys are, and I know there is a low 1:48 in qualifying with these guys. Definitely a low 1:48. Will it be Simonis? Will it be Las Vidas? Will it be Wendigo? What about King Bob, MT96? Is he going to chuck us out a little cheeky low 1:48 in qualifying? Currently, Simonis is on pole with King Bob next to him, 48.8, 48.6. Just one tenth difference between them. 3/10 back is Las Vidas, who is running the Mazda. Interesting choice, actually, that car. Not many people use it. I only know a couple of people who use it. But I'll tell you what, he certainly gets some very, very good pace out of it. Current championship leader, Wendigo, on road 2. Just almost 2/10 slower at the moment than Las Vidas with a 1:49.3. So far, only 2 people gone sub 1:49 in qualifying. Row 3 is headed up by Guy in the 911, who's got just a few hundredths of a second quicker than Shady. Shady ditched out the AMG actually and swapped it for the Aston. Not a choice I would have made, but then I'm not normally running in the top 6 of anything anywhere, so he knows what he's doing. Half a second slower is Timosius. He was in the Alpha 4C, has switched to the McLaren, and he was getting some really, really good pace out of that 4C. He seemed to drop off a bit come sort of race 5. Race 6 he switches to this, and it hasn't really so far proven to be a big major change in the swap. But we'll see what happens today. This track isn't as abrasive as some are. You can take the tyres a little bit longer here. I haven't done the maths today because I've been busy and I was up late last night with GT Champions. But we'll have a look. We'll have a look to see what's occurring. Paz Kozas in the McLaren. He is running at 1:50.1. So he's the top runner that hasn't yet broken that 150 mark. He's certainly got the pace to do so. Fully expect to see him there or thereabouts very, very soon. But he's heads up. He's there in 8th place. With Manfredas with him, alongside him in 9th. And it all changes to Mosius. Just jumps up. Manfredas jumps up as well to 10th. To 7th. Jump into Mosius. Pascozas pushes down to 9th. Arminis in that Supra in 10th place at the back of row 5. Row 6 at the moment headed by Rolles. Fizrukas for company, just a few hundredths slower with a 150.4. So a 150.3. Fizrukas, as I said, he's there alongside Mr. J. Mr. J in 13th, 151.3 with Aldriox just 4 tenths behind him. For Aldriox running in that, he's in the McLaren as well, isn't he? He is indeed in the McLaren. I apologise for my dog screaming and crying. I think all my family are about to come home, so it's going to get very loud very quickly for a short time. Hopefully before the race starts will be good. And right at the back of the pack at the moment is Etanas, who can't get better than a 152.8 at the moment. So Audiok's not broken 151. Mr. J not broken 151. Fizruckus has broken 151 but can't break 150. So everyone to Timosius now has broken 150. So has closed us downwards. Nobody broken that 150 mark. Out in front, Simonas still on pole. 1:48.6 is the current quickest time. Hasn't been able to better that since lap 5. MT96 only 1/10 really slower. Is he going to be able to just make a little inroads into that, get himself up onto pole position? As Las Vidas puts in the 48.4. What a lap. I said there was a low 48 in there, didn't I? I called it, and there it is. A 1:48.4 for Las Vidas in that Mazda. That puts him firmly on pole position, pushes everyone down one. Simonas in second place now, behind Las Vidas. And we fully expect to see these guys pull away very, very quickly at the start of the race. If you bear with me 2 seconds, guys, I'll say hello to my family because this apparently is supposed to do. Evening, Gaul.
Evening.
Did I see more bodies coming than I was expecting?
Daniel's here.
Why is Spaniel here? That'll be the boys then.
No.
I don't know what they had.
He's in.
I made my dinner and then Lewis coming and going, are we looking after ourselves? I said yes. And then he bought a takeaway after I'd already cooked my dinner. Sorry about that. Right, anyway, where were we? We were looking at very, very racy Las Vidas. Living Las Vidas Loca in pole position. 1:48.4, quickest time there. Simonas, can he make up those 2/10 and get himself back into pole position? These two are going to be at each other's throats all the way through. Now, I said Las Vidas was quick. Now, the problem Las Vidas has got is that he hasn't raced as much as everybody else. So, if Simonas keeps up his pace, it's going to be very difficult for Las Vidas to win this championship, just because he hasn't been in enough races. The person that needs to watch out, though, is this guy here, Wendigo. He was in the top 3 in every race until last week, when he fell just outside that top 3. And it finds the gap at the top of the leaderboard, which at one stage was a big, big gap, is starting to get smaller. He will desperately want to see himself finish ahead of that top 3 there. Certainly ahead of Guy as well. Guy is still within the mix for that. Guy is only sitting in 4th place at the moment. So the top 4 being Wendigo, Simonas, King Bob, Guy, with his Ruckus rounding out the top 5, and Ron is in 6th. They've got Las Vidas. He's down in 10th, but we know that since he's been here, he's won every race. So he's obviously got to be the favourite for this, and he is the fastest man on track. But Wendigo's job today will be damage limitation. Can he finish ahead of Las Vidas or Simonas? Can he just ensure he finishes in the top 3 and just keeps that pressure up? That will be the ideal scenario for him. Good evening, Dennis. How you doing? Looking forward to a good one tonight. Las Vidas is looking very, very strong. Very strong indeed. Hasn't betted the 48.4 as yet. Simonas hasn't been able to improve. Well, he has a bit, but he's only improved to 48.5. Still sits second, tucked in behind Shady. Hopefully that bit of slipstream might give him a little bit more oomph when it comes to the hot lap here. And we are everyone's probably got 1 lap left before the end of qualifying now. The last chance to get themselves further up the grid. So the grid as it stands, row 1 is Simonas, who's just put in a 48.424 over 48.427. 3 thousandths of a second difference in the pace between these two. If this is the sort of pace these guys are chucking out in a race, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So that little bit of slipstream behind Shady made all the difference there for Simonas and got him on pole. So pole position, Simonas with Las Vidas joined him on row 1. Row 2 is MT96 with the current championship leader Wendigo. Row 3 headed by Guy in the 911 and Shady joins him in the Aston Martin. Row 4 Manfredas with Timosius in the McLaren. Row 5 is Paz Kozas and Fizruckus running 9th and 10th. Then into row 6, we've got Rollers with the... I say this every time, I love his livery on that McLaren, and I want it. He's joined by Mr. J in the 911 with the smiley happy face on the front. Audriox and Etanas on the row 7, and the back row will be... Oh, no, it's not. No, sorry, Etanas is at the back. I keep forgetting when they jump in the pits, it puts them elsewhere. So, hang on, that will put... Arminis is what, 1939. So that's going to put him just ahead of Rollins there. So, I think we're pretty much there or thereabouts. Anyone else on a really, really hot lap that's likely to make a difference? That's the 1 minute warning. This is the last lap. What's Simonis got? Will Simonis cross the line? No, Simonis, it pulls up actually. Let's shady through. So he pops into the pits. Currently on the pole sitter. Las Vidas, last throw of the dice. He did a 1:49.8. Then he went into the pits. He started again. This is his last hot lap. Has he got enough to take pole position here? Right on board with him in this last little section. Here's the last few crossing the line. Guy gets himself up into the top 3 by the looks of it. No, he jumps into the pit, so that's not entirely true. That's the one thing PD needs to sort out, is keep the grid order in the right order. I don't want to have to write it down or remember stuff. Here we go. Las Vidas heads towards the line. He's not going to beat that time. I think he's too far away. Or is he? Is he going to beat the 48.4 as he comes up to the line with a 1:48.0? What a lap from Las Vidas. I genuinely thought he wasn't going to do it, but he didn't just beat it. He smashed it. He took a hammer to it and smashed it to smithereens. That is a phenomenal lap in a GR3 car. Certainly going to be the man to watch. So Las Vidas steals pole the very last 9 seconds of qualifying. So that is your grid, and we are just waiting for who to finish. Paz Kozas, I think, is the last man on track, but he's had a 1 minute warning. That was more than a minute ago. If he hasn't got a time set now, he never will. So, in terms of strategy, I think we're going to see... I think it's only going to be mediums and soft chews here. I can't imagine anyone's going to use hard. You don't know. I suppose it depends on what simulations they've been running. But they can use any tyres they wish. They're not restricted to any particular tyre compound. It is any that they wish to use. In terms of fuel, again, it's not a high fuel-intensive racetrack, really. Because you can save a lot, particularly on the 2 straights in the slipstream, if you have it. And I just need to, because I haven't done it yet, I need to do that. Oh, I haven't got the right car. I should be alright. I should be alright without changing the car. Everyone jumping in, as I will do the same. Just waiting for everyone to tick in, and we will get underway here on Sunday evening. Been a busy weekend for simulated motorsport, particularly here on GT7. Yesterday evening we had all the action from the top amateur group of GT Fusion, which was, I've got to say, check it out, because the racing was phenomenal, particularly in the last race. What a finish that was. In fact, the race 3 and race 4, what a finish they both were. And then, obviously, in the early hours of this morning, we had GT Champions, which again was a phenomenal race. And someone nicked some big points on the line in that one. And you can also check that out on Black Flag TV. After this, though, we have got the big reveal for our big new event coming up on Tuesday. Our first foray into F1 2022. It is a new season for our new partners, LNR Racing Club. They are a F1 2022 racing team. We've got a big reveal for their teams coming up after this event. But for now, this is what it's all about. It's the Lithuanian GR3 Championship. Who is the fastest man from Lithuania around Trial Mountain in a GR3 car? We are almost ready to find out. The lights go on, so while the lights are going out, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this so it lets me back in and I can see everything I need to see. And we are away, and it looks comfortable for everybody so far. I'm being shown Christmas stuff, and it is October. So I'm just reminding my family that it's October. Stop showing me Christmas things. I'll let you off. Anyway, MT96 jumps Las and Simonas off the line to take the lead of this race. Great start from him. Las in second, Simonas just behind in third. All jockeying for position, trying to find a way through in these early stages. Shady in fourth place with Wendigo, drops down to fifth in the 911. Guy in sixth place, Tom in seventh with Fizruckus eighth, Paz Kozas ninth, Manvidas in 10th, Rolles back in 11th, Mr. J 12th, Arminis in 13th. Etanas jumped Aldriox, who is at the back of the pack, but he won't stay there for long if he keeps hitting the wall like that. So here we go up the hill. Las Vidas with the slipstream, making the move past MT96. Tyree takes the lead off this race. Halfway round a lap, so he basically lost the lead for half a lap of this race, and they all a little bit of touching going through there. Shady goes through, Wendigo goes through, Simonas drops back to fifth place, MT96 up to fourth. Really tight racing. The Simonas trying to find a way through, Guy trying to stop him, nothing he can do, but at the moment everybody just jockeying 2, 3, 4 cars wide, trying to find a way through here. It is such a wide racetrack that in these GR3 cars at the speed you're going, you can go into a lot of these corners 2 or even 3 wide if you find the right line. Apart from there, you don't want to be going too wide there because someone will hit a wall or hit the grass. So Las Vidas, he takes the lead and he is already 1.5 seconds clear. His intentions are very clear to everybody else. He wants to go racing. He's 1.5 seconds clear. He's running the medium compound tyres. Wendigo up to second. I said that he had a point to prove after last week, and he's doing that already in second place in the 911. Also opting for those racing medium tyres. The gap to Shady. Shady's running very well actually in third. Is just 0.8 of a second. And it's unusual. Look, nothing against Shady, he's a very good driver, but to see him up there at this stage, especially with the pace of these guys out front, very impressive. MT96 a little bit wide there in the AMG. The thing about this AMG, it can be a little bit understeery and difficult to get around these quick corners. So Shady running in third. He's got MT96 just under a second behind him, but he's got Simonas in the slipstream. He's pulling Simonas along. Is he able to pull out and make a move, Simonas, here? Because at the moment it's Simonas being pulled along, Guy being pulled along. Simonas pulls out. He's trying to go side by side. Does the power of that Mercedes keep him ahead? Simonas up the inside. Does he make the move stick? Yes, he does. Simonas up into fourth place past MT96. The slipstream is very strong. Now he's under some pressure from Guy. Is Guy going to be able to make a move past him in the next big slipstream zone coming up after the final corner? 2 seconds now the lead for Las Vidas over Wendigo. Wendigo not able though to pull away from Shady in the top 3, but the whole top 3 now 1.2 seconds clear, just started to pull a little gap from Simonas in fourth. Simonas trying to bridge that gap and close it up and leave MT96 behind. He needs to get involved there if he wants to have a chance of winning this championship. Half a second back is MT96, lost out in the slipstream. Can he do the same back to him coming through this time round? Because he hasn't managed to pull away as Simonas, and MT96 is sticking with him, as Guy is sticking with him too. Timosius 1.1 seconds back from that battle, might be able to benefit from some of that slipstream as they go through. Let's have a look as we go into the tunnel just how this battle is looking. No one else is really looking that racing. So little bit of slipstream for Simonas from Shady as he puts in purple sector 1. Just coming in now under this little bridge, or little tunnel should we say. Very tight, but he gets on the power early, closes right up on Shady. That is a very good slipstream, and at the same time he's managed to drop MT96. He's not giving anything up here. Is he going to be able to close up on Shady? To be fair, Shady's pulling away, so it looks to me that Simonas has just gone in to a bit of fuel saving mode. He's going to happily sit there. Now he's got back into the top 4. He did a phenomenal job last week, taking the soft tyres longer than anybody thought possible. So it looks like he is already dropping in to that saving mode just to make his other stints just a little bit easier. So let's run from the back of the pack. That's the way to do it. Aldriox at the back in a battle at the moment. Paz Kozas. So the pair of them looking for some way through. 7 tenths for Audriox to make up on Paz Kozas. 1.7 seconds to Etanas. Etanas running in the Porsche 911, who is 8 tenths from the back of Arminis GT. Looked a bit slow there, but I think that was just the camera angle switching at the wrong time. Second back to Mr. J. Back from Mr. J. Mr. J is 1.5 behind this man here, Rollis. Rollis running in 10th place on the soft tyres. Now, if you want these soft tyres to work, you're going to have to be a bit further on the racetrack than this, because a lot of the runners in front, actually, let's have a look at everyone else has got. Mediums, softs, Pacos, he needs to do better. Arminis needs to do better. Rollis definitely needs to do better. They're on the soft tyres, and the medium tyres are outperforming them at the moment. A little bit worrying for those guys. Manfredas also on the softs. Fizrakas running on the medium tyres. Timosius running also on the mediums. He's 1.5 behind MT96, who's lost out another place to Guy. So starting to drop down through the order is King Bob. Remember, he's in the top 3 in the championship at the moment, but losing out to Guy. Guy will be looking, if it stays as it is, Guy might actually leapfrog him in the championship table. So it's still all to play for in that top 3. Guy is 1.6 now behind Simonas. That top 4 just starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. There is Simonas still sitting behind Shady, half a second back. All of these front runners all running on the medium tyres. I think that's probably the optimum strategy here, in all honesty, just running a little bit longer in the first stint. 1.2 seconds up to Wendigo, and that gap now 2.1 seconds to this man here, Las Vidas. Or Las Vidas. I don't know how to pronounce it. No one's questioned the way I pronounce it so far, so let's assume I'm right with Las Vidas. There he is in first place, 2 seconds clear. Now, let's look at these soft tyre runners, where we're at with the state of tyres. It's already looking like a lap 6, maybe lap 7 is the maximum they're going to get out of these softs. Remember, it's 25 laps. Lot of running to do if you're going to be running more than one compound. Now, the mediums look to be holding out very, very well. I would expect to start seeing a pit window for them somewhere between lap 10 and lap 14. Now, if you can run these tyres to lap 14, lap 15, you can do 2 very, very hot stints on the softs. If you run them to lap 12, in fact, if you run to lap 12, I think you can get 2, lap 12. You can run these to lap 12, you can do two hot stints on the softs. You could potentially stop this with a little bit of clever tyre preservation. I think you could run this as a one-stop race just on medium tyres. Be interesting to see if anyone opts for that strategy. No one's opting for the hards. The hards are absolutely useless around here, and let's be fair. There's no need. If you can go more than half the race on the medium tyres, then why would you bother with the hard compounds? The fuel certainly won't get you to the end, so you will have to stop whatever happens. So here we are, 2.5 seconds now is the lead as we see Las Vidas coming up to the last 2 corners to complete lap 5 of 25. Just 10 minutes into this race we are, and we're already looking at a 2.3 second gap for the leader here, Las Vidas. And is he going to make it 3 races from 3? He hasn't had fastest lap in any of the races he's won so far, or either the 2. Currently does with a 49.9. That's very, very quick early race pace, to be fair. Wendigo running their lead, current championship leader. At the moment, this is a good position for him to be in. Las Vidas, because he hasn't raced that many, is a bit further back in the championship, back in 10th. So his big rivals at the moment, Simonas, Guy, who's the other one? King Bob, all way down the order. So this is good news. If this stays as it is, Wendigo will increase his lead at the top of the leaderboard. And again, so much more lag going on. I just can't understand why we've got such laggy service today. Everything's just so jumpy. Really, really frustrating. Can only imagine how frustrating it must be for the drivers. Shady running in 3rd. Really good from Shady to be running up there, especially keeping Simonis behind him. Although it looks to me that Simonis is using Shady as a bit of a fuel-saving exercise. I know these guys' pace, and I know that Simonis could absolutely burn him. If we look at Shady's tyres, though, that has to mind, not very tyre-friendly. Look at the difference there on the BRZ for Simonis. He's got plenty more laps to be running. Lap 6 we are at the moment. Can go another 6 very easily. Shady, though, I think he's going to be coming in around lap 10. We know the tyre wear's a little bit different now. It's changed in the latest update. You can push the tyres right until the red comes off, essentially, when it's fully red. But what'll happen then is you won't get a warning. You'll just... Well, the first warning you'll be tyres have gone off is obviously the picture. But if you don't see that and you ignore it, 1 minute they'll grip, the next minute you'll be in a wall doing a Paul Walker. So there we go, lap 6 completed for all of them. On to lap 7. Guy up to 5th place, 2.9 behind Simonas. He's been running very well in that 911, and he just seems to change his livery a little bit every time out, which is pretty cool. That's the sort of thing I do. I love to change a bit of livery. And again, this lag is just woefully poor. I don't know what the answer is, people. I really don't. Timothy's running in 6th place in that very, very colourful. It looks like it's come from Jamaica in those kind of colours. McLaren. The McLaren at the moment 2.9 seconds back from Rollins, is up to 7th. But will be pitting this lap. If he makes it, he's still got a lot of lap to go. And those tyres looking ropey as fuck. I feel for him because I don't know if those tyres are going to hold on to the end of this lap. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Rollins facing the other way before he gets to change those tyres. Anyone that's on the soft should have already pitted. And we go down the order and we have a look. Paz Kozas has. He's back on the softs again. Itanas has. He's opted for the mediums this time out. Armanis stays on the softs. 3-second penalty for him. Manfredas opted for mediums. Fizrokas is on the mediums. He'll be coming in soon. But he's got Manfredas all over the back of him. He won't have Armanis. Armanis will serve that penalty and drop into the loving arms of Itanas behind him. MT96 on the mediums. Bit of damage on the front there. Has dropped right out of the running. Bear in mind, he is a championship contender, back in 10th at the moment, and struggling. Aldriox also on those mediums, also with a bit of damage. Looks like these two are holding on till their pit stop to do a repair, but battling all the same. So Rollins does make it. Excuse me, Rollins does make it, and he gets into the pits, and he hasn't died, which is always good to see. But I'll tell you what, the state of those tyres, I'm very surprised he made it. Mr. J on the mediums, he'll be running for a couple more laps before we see him activate his first pit window. Timosius also running mediums. Again, lap 10, lap 11, his pit window will open. Guy running very, very solid there in 5th place. He's taken a lot out of that front right tyre. He might have to pit a bit sooner than the other medium tyre runners. We may even see him coming at the end of this lap. So not looking after the tyres as well as those around him. Simona still tucked up behind Shady, still not making that move. We know he can. He's in that slipstream. Look how much fuel he's saved in comparison to those around him, just staying tucked in there behind Shady. The only worry is that if the others start pulling away, I know we have an absolute nightmare with the lobbies have been absolutely awful all weekend, Danis. It's not my end, I can assure you of that. It's been the information coming from the lobbies has been really, really poor. Both for GT Fusion and GT Champions. I've never seen anything quite so disgusting this weekend. But I can assure you it's not my connection in any way or form. I have checked. But there we go. Put it this way, there are some a lot worse off than us this weekend. If you just check out Group G from Fusion yesterday, the streamer had to stop streaming, it was that bad. He couldn't finish doing the broadcast. That's still in the lead. It's now 6.8 seconds now from Shady. Wendigo jumps in the pits. Probably a lap too early for me. Guy, probably about right with the look of that front tyre. Jumps into the pits from running from 5th place. So Las Vegas in the lead, 7.1 seconds from Shady. Simonis running in 3rd now. Still tucked in behind Shady there in that top 3. Mr. J in 4th place. That's quite some promotion for him. Running on the medium tyres. Wendigo running in 5th as he just comes out of the pits. Does he stay 5th? Yes, he does. That's not a bad stop from him. He's put back on those medium tyres. That will take him to lap 18. And that will give him a nice little run at the end on the soft compound tyres. Same for Guy. So it looks to me that 2 stop is the way to go for these guys. Taking it medium, soft. It's going to be a very, very racy end to this competition here in Trial Mountain. Going to just have a look at something while we go for the pit window to see if I can do anything to improve this lag, because I know it's not my end, but I've got to try and do something. I just don't know what the answer is, guys. We just have to all stop playing it. If everybody sort of turned around tomorrow and said we're not playing this game anymore, I'll tell you what, it would certainly give them something to think about. So I'm looking now, I've got excellent connection coming up at my end, so it's definitely, excellent connection, so it's definitely whatever's coming from the servers causing the problem, and I can only apologise. Out of my control, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But anyway, is what it is. We continue. Las Vidas does finally pit on lap 9, going into lap 10. He will run to lap 18. He will go for the softs at the end as well. Shady stays out. Not sure that's the wisest decision Shady has made today. In fact, I don't think that's the wisest decision he's made ever. If you look at those tyres, can he hold them out in the Aston Martin? They are looking very, very ropey. Simona's in a much better condition. This plays right into Simona's hands. This is now where he puts the hammer down. He takes the lead of this race. He was waiting for Las Vidas to go in, and now he goes up the road, starting the big charge, going for the overcut. He is on a very, very quick lap right now. Shady stuck in behind with that very shaky lag, very stuttery, all over the racetrack. No, one thing I had fed back for a lot of people racing yesterday, particularly in Fusion, is that it was so difficult to know when to make an overtake. It was a good one as well, which is not the easiest track to overtake on anyway. But there was a couple of moves where there would have been an overtake on, but because the lag was so bad, you just weren't risking it, because you couldn't be sure that the car was where you thought it was. A second later when you're going past. I genuinely don't know. I know there are ways that we can improve them, and that is by making sure that before you log on every time you clear your cache out. It's to make sure that everyone involved is hardwired in. It's to make sure you don't have people entering and leaving the lobbies. Make sure everyone checks in properly, goes to the racetrack, checks out properly, red ticks and everything else, does a connection check, all those kinds of things. Making sure the host has got a strong, stable connection. But none of that matters if the quality of the lobbies is poor, and that seems to be the big consensus. Not just for me and other streams I talk to them, but across social media all weekend. It's been a very, very poor weekend. A lot of the big YouTubers and stuff have been complaining about that quality, because it's not our connections. We're trying to put this entertainment out there. We're trying to put these streams and videos out there for you, and we're doing everything we can to have the best possible connection to do that. And the lobbies, the information coming from the lobbies is fucking dog shit. Simple as. No better way to put it than the information we're getting from these lobbies is utter dog shit. And PD and Sony need to get their fucking shit sorted out. Because it's pushing people away. We've got racers from Black Flag tonight who are so pissed off with the lobbies, they've gone to play Fortnite rather than fucking race. And that's saying something. So, if anyone from PD ever watches this, sort your fucking shit out, because you are losing people every day, and it's going to keep happening. But I'll tell you what is happening. Simonas, 11.5 seconds clear. He's going to pit at the end of this lap. That's the gap to Las Vidas. So Las Vidas will regain the lead of this race, but it certainly won't be as big a gap as previously. 5.5 seconds back is Wendigo. Wendigo will also regain second place here. Guy will be running, I think, will be running in the top 3 after Simonas goes in the pit. So it looks to me that actually this overcut doesn't really work. That actually the undercut seems to be much stronger. Now Simonas will come in here. So this is lap 11. It does mean that at the end of this race, when he's on the soft tyres, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. There are 14 laps remaining. Now, here's the question. Is Simonas going to run two stints of softs here after running so long on the mediums? I think it's doable, you know. I really think it's doable. That really does throw a cat amongst the pigeons, because he's going to be quick on those soft tyres. Fastest lap still at 1:49.94. Las Vidas is running in second place. He's the only man on this racetrack that has gone sub 150 in this race. But managing his pace much better, dropping it out to a 50 and 51 kind of pace. Wendigo, very similar, 50s and 51s. Very, very solid. Slowly catchy monkey, as they say. Guy running in fourth place. He's 2.7 seconds behind that battle. Manfredas in fifth. Some way back from the top four now. That top four really having a separate race of their own. The battle for the midfield now is led by Manfredas, who's 1.7 clear of Rollers. They are both running the medium tyres. Paz Kozas is on the softs. He's going to have to pit in the next couple of laps. So that's going to drop him right down the order. But will that mean that he is running a long final stint? 2.6 seconds back to Arminis GT. He's 10 seconds clear at the moment, Shady. 10 seconds. That's how ahead he is of Shady. Shady at one stage, we remember, was running in the top three. After the pit stops, not so much. Dropped way down the order, but he has put an awful lot of fuel in that car. So will that bring him into contention later when some of the soft runners in front of him finally decide to pit? Now, Simona's still not gone into the pits. He's running out to lap 12 now. The things that, do you know what, I talk about, anyone that watches my streams on a regular basis will know that Avalon, the guy that I race with, is a tyre saving and fuel saving genius, right? But this is next level shit. Next level shit from Simonas. He did it last week as well. He took soft tyres 2 laps longer than the game even codes possible. And he's done it again with those mediums. Pretty much everyone else on the mediums pit 3 laps ago. He got another, they pit at the end of lap 9, he's pitting at the end of lap 12. I'm telling you now, he's coming out on soft tyres. So Las Vidas does go through and regain the lead of this race. Here comes Wendigo. He will take second place. He's currently 5.6 seconds off the leader. Simonas will also lose out to Guy. Guy, 8.9 seconds, the gap. I suppose the other option for Simonas is to run the hard tyres till the end of the race. Or I suppose run the mediums, but I don't know if either of those are a good idea. So at the moment, way down the order, Ronnie's up into 4th. That's one of the best races for him. If he finishes there, that's one of his best races this season. Manfredas in 5th, looking at trying to make a move there. Paz Kozas, though, crawling all over the back of him. Anything he can do for an overtake. Arminis GT running in 7th. That is where Simonas comes out. He's currently 32 seconds off the leader. So at the moment, the top 10 separated by just 42 seconds. And you think, well, 42 seconds is a lot of racing terms, but it's not that much really. It's only a few laps as we see another massive lag from Etanas jumping all over the racetrack. It's fucking pissing me off. Absolutely fucking pissing me off. I'm really angry for this at PD this weekend. PD basically ruined my fucking weekend. It's almost like they did it on purpose, because I'm always slagging them off, wankers. So 49.9 still the fastest. So 49.8 now is the fastest lap of the race, and that is from this man way down here, MT96. So is he now just ramping it up, looking for some way through? Now 11, but there's a lot of work to do. It's 47 seconds off the leaders of this race. That is a lot of work to do to get up the racetrack. But if he can put in consistent times at sub 1 minute 50, who knows where he's going to be once everything's done and dusted. What tyres did Simonas come out on? He came out on the medium tyres. Now that says to me, he feels he can run to the end of this race. He went almost half distance on those medium tyres first time out. Can he do it and get one more lap out of them? Or is he going to just scrub the shit out of these and then go softs? I'm going to call it. I think Simonas is going to one-stop this race. And I think that's going to put him somewhere around the top 3 or top 4. He's already up to 6th as we see. Arminis and Paz Kozas going in for their second pit stop at this just over halfway point. We're already, can you believe it? Already on lap 14 of 25 here. It's been an absolute, this has just flown by. Absolutely flown by this race. 5.6 seconds. Las Vegas leads from Wendigo. The gap is not changing. Las Vegas, his race management has been spot on, absolutely spot on. There is Guy, 3.4 seconds back to Wendigo. Top three now are 16 and a half almost seconds clear of the chasing pack. That's the difference. It's the difference between the beginning and the end of that straight, where Guy is just turning left. And there is Rollis and Manvidas. Rollis just breaking that toe, not allowing Manvidas to get pulled along with him. Manvidas not really trying too hard though to get tucked in there. Lets Rollis break the toe, doesn't make the move that time out. So Rollis 16.1 seconds back. He's got Manvidas just there behind him. There is Simonas. Simonas, who did lead this race for a bit, was looking quite racy. 7.2 seconds back he is from Manvidas at the moment. Not lapping super quick by the looks of things either. He was down in the 52s for pretty much most of the first stint. Now, I don't know if that's an intentional ploy from him, if he's intending on pushing up the order, but not entirely sure it was. It's going to set him in good stead, because the gap to the lead is 34 seconds. That's essentially that pit stop that I think he's going to save. That's that distance. So I think it's touch and go whether this one stop's actually going to work for him. I think it really depends on how much more pace he can get without scrubbing off those tyres. There's Shady back in 7th. He was ahead of Simonas for some time in the first stint, but now 2.6 seconds back. He is 11 seconds clear, though, of the current fastest man on the track, MT96. MT96 just completing lap 15 and putting in, where is he? A 150.4. So a much more modest time for him. Fizz Ruckas, he is running in 9th place in that Corvette C7. And he's got Harmonist GT for company. They're 8.9 seconds back from the fastest man on the track right now. But they are battling here. Fizz Ruckas running the medium tyres. He's got a lap, maybe 2 left in them. He will do one more stint after this. Armanis on fresh racing softs. If he doesn't get his overtake done beforehand, he certainly will on the pit stop. But he'll want to get this move done nice and quickly, so he can get that soft rubber down and start closing up the gap on the top 8. Certainly is a good opportunity for a solid midfield finish here, if he can get past Fizz Ruckas in with the slipstream. And here we go, up the hill. He's got much grippier tyres. He's tucked in under that wing. He's closing. Fizz Ruckas will not leave a gap. He's going to have to make his own way round. He goes up the outside, actually. That's quite clever from Fizz Ruckas. He wants to try and maintain the inside line. Doesn't hold it, though. He just didn't have the pace or the grip in those tyres to do so. He's going to be pitting at the end of this lap. He's not going to be too worried about that. But that does free Armanis to go off up the road. So Mosius in 11th place. 2.7 seconds back from that battle. In a little bit of clean air at the moment. Aldrox is 7.2 seconds behind, with Mr. J 1.1 further back. Paz Kozas, there he is, back in 14th. He has just finished his pit stop, which is why he's there. 29 seconds back, now on the racing hard tyres. I didn't think I'd see anyone use these racing hards today. They just haven't got the grip, and I think the time you lose just doesn't make it worth it. As you can see, especially around that corner, you really notice it. But he is back in 15th as we see Fizz Ruckas into the pits as we predicted. So out in front, Las Vidas, he's looking to make it 3 from 3. Was on pole, lost out early doors to MT96. That didn't last very long though. MT96 now running in 8th. Las Vidas in the lead of this race. 7.8, 7.9 seconds, 8 seconds clear of the current championship leader, Wendigo, who will be pitting at the end of this lap. He hasn't got the fuel to go any longer. Now, he's going to have to go on the mediums. I don't think he's going to be able to get the softs to the end of this race. Pushed him maybe a little bit too hard with not quite enough fuel. And that has meant he's going to need to run mediums to finish this race. Guy also follows him in though. Is it going to be a like-for-like strategy for these two? Who's bravest with the fuel? Who can put the least amount on and get out the fastest? Will Rollins get through? Well, he won't, because Rollins pulls into the pits as well. That just gives Las Vidas A 31-second gap back to the only other guy on the racetrack right now racing him, which is Simonas. And now I certainly think that Simonas is doing a one-stop here. It's fucking brave, man. One-stop here is really fucking brave. He does retake second. Now, track position is going to be king. He is going to be able to hold that position. He's quite good at defending. But the problem is, with the slipstream here, if he is running those medium tyres to the end of this race, in the last few laps, he can find himself under some significant pressure. So as everybody jumps into the pits, it starts to kind of shape up how the grid will really be. And this is how it is. 33 seconds up the road from Simonas is Las Vegas. So he has just come round that. So he's finished sector 2. Simonas has just finished sector 1. That's the entire sector of this racetrack ahead at the moment. Simonas 6.7 clear of Shady in the Aston Martin. Best race so far for Shady. I'm really impressed with his performance today. Good to see him up there and mixing it with the big boys. And bearing in mind how quickly these big boys are. As Las Vegas goes in for his second and last pit stop. How much of that time is going to get made up? Is Simonas really going to run a one stop? Can Las Vegas chase him down? Will he do it on the medium tyres? Will he do it on the soft tyres? Wendigo running 4th place. MT96 1.4 back, running in 5th in the AMG. Guy 2.2 seconds back from that battle in the Porsche 911 with Arminis running in 7th. So he's just done a purple sector, Arminis, on those soft tyres. Is he going to give us the fastest lap of the race here? So where is Simonas? Simonas comes down that start-finish straight. Where is Las Vegas? Las Vegas just leaving the pits. So it looks like Las Vegas retakes the... No, he doesn't. Simonas just goes flying through. The gap is 1 second. Now, Las Vegas has opted for the mediums. Simonas also on the mediums, but he's on worn, used mediums. He has decided to one-stop this race. I don't think he's going to be able to hold off Las Vegas. But then I said that last week about his soft tyre. Fucking lag again. Go fuck yourself, Sony. I don't think he's going to be able to hold him off. I said that last week when he's on the softs. Different kettle of fish now. Las Vegas is going to hunt him down. There he is. He is 2.1 seconds back at the moment. He's going to bide his time. He knows that when Simonas pit, he doesn't know he's going to pit again. That's the only thing he doesn't know. He doesn't know he's going to pit again. He may well be listening to this. I know a lot of drivers do. Shady running very comfortably at the moment in 3rd. He is going to have to pit though and change out those medium tyres, but he will complete this race on some very softs, and they are grippy as hell around here. Wendigo in 4th place. He's on his final stint now. He's opted for the medium tyres. So he went medium as he lags and stutters past my screen. MT96 running in 5th, but will he be there for long? He's going to have to pit. He's got Guy behind him who has pit. If Guy doesn't burn him on the racetrack, which looks like he might do, he'll certainly get him next lap when MT96 goes in. Now, should he have gone in that lap? Maybe not. He's looking to run on softs at the end. So, but he's going to have a lot of work to do to stay up there in that top 5. We will watch Guy just tuck in behind, and as they cross the start-finish line, he's going to pull out probably to this left-hand side. There we go. Here he goes. And this is the only difficult thing. Is that AMG in the straight line is really quick. And the superior tyres, superior grip there into turn 1. That's an easy overtake there from Guy. And up he moves into 5th place. Arminis 6.8 seconds back. Looking very quick as Simonas puts in the fastest lap of the race with a 1:49.7. His intentions are clear. I am not giving this win up if I can help it. Has he changed his tack? Now, for me, he was fully intending and fully committed to a one-stop strategy. Has he now, looking at the gap, seeing when Las Vidas went in, decided to ditch that idea and go full beans. I think if you were going to do that, you should have done it sooner. I think you could have and probably should have gone soft if that was your plan. But it is done now. Decisions have been made, and sometimes you have to adapt based on what's going on the racetrack. 1.3 seconds, that current gap. We're looking at the back. It is still Atanas at the very, very back of the pack. He's being lapped by who? He's being lapped there by Wendigo. The fact Wendigo disappeared inside his car on my screen then is not lost on me, but I'm going to stop banging on about it because he's just going to give me the ump. Timosius running in 14th place. Not a good race for him in that McLaren. And I'm going to say it, he changed for the... I was sceptical about the 4C when I saw that's the car he was using. And he got some decent results, really decent results out of that 4C. And I was quite impressed with how he was getting it to perform. And then he's changed to the McLaren. And I don't understand the thinking behind it, because he's changed to the McLaren and it hasn't really had a massive effect on improving performance. Certainly not on the fucking longs. Look at the state of that. So I don't know what the answer is there. Maybe he's thinking for sort of next race or the next race after that, and he feels that at that point he can pick something up. But still getting stream health is excellent coming back, so it's still not my issue, guys. I'm really pissed off about the state of it, but here's what it is. So who else is in the pits? All Jocks in, Arminis in. What's the gap now? Gap's 0.8 of a second. We're on lap 20 of 25. Simonis has committed to this one-stop strategy. It's not going to work out for him today. I was wrong last time. I'm not wrong this time. It's not going to work out. I know this track well. I know that this guy behind him, who is super quick, has got enough tyres and enough fuel to give it some proper beans. He doesn't even have to push too hard. He's going to close up every corner, every lap, just as Simonis is kind of looking at the tyre gauge, looking and seeing what he's got left, wondering just how many laps he can drag those worn-ass medium tyres for till the end. The one-stop will play into his hands in terms of giving a higher finishing position, certainly, but how much higher? The question is, will it keep him ahead of Wendigo? Because that is the position he's looking at. So is that the thinking behind this? He knows he can't beat Las Vidas on pace, but he knows that he can, if he runs this one stop, possibly finish ahead of Wendigo. And they are the current championship rivals at the moment. He is sitting, 21 points behind Wendigo at the moment. So we'll want to finish ahead of him. What about Wendigo? What's he doing in terms of pace? He's just put in, it's almost as though he was listening. He's put in the fastest lap of the race. He wants none, he's having none of this bullshit. He lost out on the podium last time and does not want to do it again. Running in third, he's 12.9 seconds behind Las Vidas, which puts him, 13.5 seconds behind the current leader, Simonas. But here we go. Las Vidas now down to 3/10, tucked in behind. Is he going to pull out straight away? Is he just going to toy with Simonas? Let Simonas defend for his life, drag those tyres into the realm of death, and then just breeze by as Simonas has to go into the pits, or worse still, take the car out of a wall where there was just nothing left to grip. But we've seen just how much Simonas can get out of his tyres, more than anybody else on this racetrack, I think. I think he's certainly much better at keeping them fresh. So Simonas leads. We're on lap 21. Lap 22, lap 23, lap 24, lap 25. And yes, that was me counting how many laps were left. No, it wasn't really. 4 laps remaining of this race. With Simonas in the lead. He's 7/10 clear of Las Vidas, the fastest man on earth. As we see Simonas on the grass, that gap is going to close. So, are the tyres already starting to give out for Simonas? Las Vidas closes that gap, by half a second when Simonas just went a little bit too beansy through that corner and took it off to the side. And here we go, Las Vidas tucked under the wing of that BRZ in his Mazda. And as they head up the hill, he's tucked in that slipstream. Absolutely no wind resistance. And that just allows him. Simonas just indicates to say, go left, mate. I can't stop you. He actually put his indicators on and just let him go. He knew he just could not defend that overtake. There was nothing he was going to do. Now, is he going to be able to tuck in and keep up with him? Doesn't look like it. I suppose what he wants to do is he wants to stay ahead of Wendigo. 11.3 seconds is the gap at the moment. Not sure the pace is quick enough with Wendigo to do anything about it. I think the key is going to be how much Simonas can keep those tyres in check for these last, 3 and a bit laps now. Wendigo's last lap was a 49.9. Simona's last lap 50.8. So it's about a second difference. So 3 seconds is what he's going to make up. It's not enough as they lag through the final turn onto the start-finish straight. I apologise to every one of you watching about the poor quality coming from the service tonight. I don't know why I'm apologising. It's not my fucking fault. But I'm apologising anyway because you guys have to suffer the indignity of watching the crappiest servers on the planet churn out some what is quality racing, and I'm sure it's ruining the experience for you all. So, leader of the race, Las Vidas now 1.2 seconds clear of Simonas, gap down to 4.4 seconds to current championship leader Wendigo, but that gap will close a little bit with Simonas finishing ahead. Guy currently running 4th in the championship and 4th on the racetrack, 5.8 seconds back from Wendigo. Not lapping anywhere near that kind of pace. Not going to get himself into the top 3 today without some kind of accident. Shady running in 5th, 17.7 seconds back from that. Again, not a hope in hell of getting into the top 4, but could stay in the top 5 unless this man here, and he's actually looking pretty damn quick. Shady, although did last lap to 49.2, which is pretty fucking quick to be fair. But MT96 still the fastest man on the track with a 1:48.8. He is 11 seconds behind Rollers, even with that kind of pace. And that's insane pace, a 48.8. He's not going to catch Rollers at this stage. We're on lap 23 of 25. Paz Kozas running in 8th. We've got Manfredas running in 9th with Armanis tucked right up underneath him. And Manfredas has damage. So we've got Armanis on the softs, Manfredas with damage on the mediums. Are we going to see a big overtake here as we see Armanis on board now, tucked under that wing? Is he going to make the same move we've just seen? Is he going to indicate the same way Simonas did? Well, he's not actually as happy about it as Simonas was, or was designed to it. He's just going to have to suck it up, Buttercup, as Armanis breezes past him, and the kids wave out of the back window at the car behind, as if to say, see ya. Armanis up to 9th place. That puts Manfredas down to 10th. 17 seconds clear of Sam Mosius in that McLaren. It's no 4C, that car, is it? Half a second, though, back from him. Fizrukas. Is he going to get that Corvette and just pull a little move here on top and get himself up into the top 11? Mr. J runs 13th. Audriox running in 14th. And Etanas is 3 days behind in 15th place and being lapped again by who? Can't see who that is. That is Shady coming up to lap him right now. Leave him a big gap because we don't want him to be a slim Shady. Sorry, that was poor. That was really poor. There's your leader, Las Vidas. He is about to make this 3 wins from 3 races in the RX Vision Concept GR3 car. 2.6 seconds. He is leading Simonas. Simonas doing everything he needs to keep this car ahead of Wendigo. He has got 1 lap, essentially, after these last 2 turns. 1 lap to do. And he made the tyres last, he made the fuel last. And it pisses me off that he keeps doing it. Now, to be fair, I did say he wouldn't win this race. I didn't say he'd finish any lower down. I said he might. But it doesn't matter how... is it? I think he's the new king. Simonas may be the new king of fuel saving, tyre saving. I think him and I'd like to see him and Avalon have a tyre and fuel off. So just literally drive around a racetrack and see who lasts the longest. That'd be, do you know what? I'm going to propose that. In fact, I think it's a brilliant idea. I think we should do a little one-off competition, a little bit of the Lithuanian club versus Black Flag Racing in a who can last the longest on their tyres and fuel race. No set amount of laps, no set amount of time, just drive until your car's dead. How awesome would that be? Let's make Rollis. We've got to make that happen, dude. We've got to make that happen. That's going to be wicked. Wendigo in third, comfortably so. The gap from Guy behind 7 seconds. They're on the final lap, so that's not going to change for me. But he's 9 seconds back from Simona Spoke. Here we are. Let's go on board with the leader of this race as he comes out of the tunnel for the last time today. Down the hill, looking at those Michelin signs, getting this car turned into the left. Nice and tight to the big rock in the middle. Back on the power. Absolutely dominant in qualifying. Absolutely dominant in the race. Never in doubt any stage throughout this race that Las Vidas was going to win. He was like shit. He was like very runny shit off a very well-oiled shovel today. Absolutely melted it. Doesn't have the fastest lap of the race, but he doesn't care about that. He just cares about the fact that he won. Consistency personified he was. And he goes into this left-hander, and he will then change direction into the right-hander. Las Vidas, 5 seconds clear of Simonas. 3 races, 3 wins. That's what he's got to his name. He comes down at the end of lap 25, crossing line, takes the checkered flag in first place. Simonas one-stop that race. What a race from him. He one-stopped it when everybody else 2 and 3'd. That was some racing from him. Wendigo, championship leader, will see his championship lead cut by a few points, coming home there in third. Here comes Guy, still keeps his hopes alive, finishing in 4th place. Shady, good race from him. Really solid performance from him in the Aston Martin. Him swapping that car seems to have paid off this time out. He comes home in 5th place. Very, very solid race from him. Good finish from Rollins as well, up in 6th in that McLaren. 5 seconds back in 6th place. MT96. He's been the fastest man on the track, but couldn't make up the positions. Atanas finishing 15th at the same time. Paz Kozas will come home eventually in 8th place. I thought he was slow because he'd run out of fuel, but he wasn't. He comes home in 8th place. 5 seconds clear of this man at Arminis, who was very racing that last stint, but running out of fuel as he crossed the line. Manfredas 5.9 seconds back. Here he comes crossing the line in 10th place. Tomosius in the McLaren, which he switched out from the 4C. 11th place for him. Another outside the top 10 finish for a guy that actually at the beginning of this I thought was going to be one of the guys to watch. Mr. J. Good performance from him to finish 14 seconds behind Tomosius. I can't beat Tomosius. Well, at least a few times I've seen him race, or I've raced on the same lobby as him, I've been able to beat him. It's not a huge amount of times, but I haven't been able to beat him so far. And I look at the people he's racing against and the pace of them. And Fizrakas and Itanas, crossing the line at the same time. Oh, no, sorry, Aldrox it was. Crossing the line at the same time. So there we go. Top 3. No change to the guy at the front. Since he started in this competition 3 races ago, Las Vidas has dominated. It is like watching Schumacher era in the fastest car. 3 races from 3 for him. Simonas, another podium place for him. Closes the gap slightly on Wendigo at the top of the leaderboard. But as fast as we began, we end. And off to the US Grand Prix, or whatever it's called, the Texas Grand Prix, which everyone's going to go and watch now. But that was another phenomenal race. Every week it just gets better and better and better. I can't believe that this thing's over in 3 weeks' time now. That was round 7 at Trail Mountain. That was 25 laps around there. We have got 3 races left. Wendigo's still not comfortable at the top of the leaderboard. He's still there, but the gap is still getting smaller. How much smaller will it get? Will Simonas make up that distance? Will Las Vidas be able to just turn it on, win the rest of the races this season, and put himself in that top 3. Certainly not an impossible task. Certainly not. But we've got 3 races left. Next time out, we are at Monza. I fucking love Monza. It is brilliant. That is going to be pedal to the metal, balls out, full on racing. Las Vidas and Simonas around there. Wendigo around there. In fact, even Samosis. It's going to be epic at Monza. Just going 3 wide out of Parabolica. That's what I'm looking forward to. 24 laps around Monza next week. Then the following week, we are at Suzuka for another 24 laps. I'd like to be as enthusiastic about Suzuka as I am about Monza. I can't be. It's not so bad to commentate on, but it's a fucking bitch to drive. And then we finish this competition at the Green Hell. That's in 3 weeks' time. Nordschleife, 7 laps. Final race of this epic Lithuanian GR3 tournament. And I can't wait till next week to see what this competition has got in store for us. So, nothing else left to say except for the fact that I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV with LT Racing Club and the Lithuanian National Championship. And before the music plays, I will say peace, be out, enjoy the rest of your weekend.